Imagine this, you're sitting on your nice Japanese toilet taking a huge shit when suddenly you hear somebody speaking Vietnamese and watching anime loudly next to you. How did this happen? Well, it happened because you're living in an apartment in Japan and the walls are made of goddamn paper, dude. This actually happened to me. I could even hear what kind of anime I was watching. I was watching old school Dragon Ball, you know, before Dragon Ball Z. It was the episode where Goku was trying to take on the Red Ribbon Army. Kind of a good episode. Also, I heard him watching some Japanese adult videos in there, and I do believe it was called... Yes, this is the first thing I wish I knew before moving to Japan, and we're jumping straight into the content, baby! No intro! There's no soundproofing in most Japanese apartments, which leads to many interesting situations where neighbors complain about your noise level when you sneeze a bit too loudly in the middle of the night. This is something that I really wish I knew before moving to Japan, because my first week in my apartment in Osaka, first week ever in Japan, I may have had a couple Kirin Ichiban too many, and I was laughing super hard at some Always Sunny in Philadelphia when my Japanese landlord almost beat down the door and yelled at me in Japanese. I didn't know any Japanese, but I assumed I was being loud. I'm glad I didn't get kicked out for that one time though, because getting an apartment as a foreigner in Japan is kind of shitty, and something I wish I knew before moving here. Now, usually people who come here as, you know, an ALT assistant language teacher, or, you know, you already bagged a job at a nice school to teach there, most of them will have company housing or get an apartment for you, so you don't have to worry about that. Now, me, on the other hand, I went to Japan the first time on a working holiday visa, which meant I had to fix everything by myself. And when you don't know any Japanese, the whole ordeal of trying to fix an apartment for yourself, kinda difficult. Many Japanese landlords have like a clause saying no foreigners, and before you start screaming racism on Twitter, you know, it's mostly because there's a huge amount of Southeast Asians moving to Japan to work, to send money back home, and then eventually go back home. Some of them sign a 1-year contract to stay in an apartment, maybe work for 6 months, and then they just get the fuck out of there and just break the contract, never to return again. That's basically why. And instead of Japan being kind of racist, saying no Southeast Asians, they just blanket statement the whole thing, just no foreigners, basically. So we're all in this shit together, my foreigner boys. But don't worry, there's light at the end of this tunnel. You can use a real estate company that specializes in finding apartments that are foreigner friendly. So, you know, there you go. You just have to pay a little bit of kickback to them and they'll fix it for you. Very nice and easy. But despite them fixing everything for you, this does not mean that you'll be able to dodge the next thing that I wish I knew about before moving to Japan. The massive amount of paperwork you have to do in Japan to do, well, anything. It's absolutely astounding. It blows my mind that we have to do this much paperwork in 2023. Jesus Christ. Registering your address at the city hall. Paperwork. Also, you have to go physically to a city hall. Hello, we're in the digital age. Moving. More paperwork. Renewing your damn visa. Tons of paperwork. You'll feel like you're in bureaucracy hell. Which you kinda are. Welcome. I've been burning here for quite some time. I am from a country that has had everything digitalized since like 2007. I could have avoided so much frustration and anger because I had to physically go down to a city hall and sit there and wait for 5 hours and do a bunch of paperwork on my off day. God damn it. If I just knew about this, I could probably have mentally prepared, so take notes. Not on your phone or your tablet, on paper. Yeah, this is something that really annoyed me at first, and it still does, but I think it has some charm, you know, when you have to bring your little paper passbook to the bank and update it into the machine, and you can hear the machine like typing and writing how much money you got. It's kind of cool. It's kind of like living in a museum when you do that shit. And despite it having its, you know, old school paperwork charm, I really wish it was more digital, which is a nice segue into Japan is not very technologically advanced. Now, let me cook. Let me cook. We've all seen the robots. Let me cook. Japan is probably the only place in the world where you can go out for a nice sushi dinner, have a robot serve it to you, then pay with an app called PayPay, then walk back home and sit by the fax machine to wait for your boss to fax you something that you need to sign and fax back. What the fuck? But this blend of advanced with the traditional is very Japan. Skyscrapers intermingled with shrines, the new and the old, keeping on tradition but pushing forward. That's the robot serving sushi and you waiting by the fax machine Japan that exists today. And that's also kind of a bit of the charm. But I really wish I knew this about Japan before moving here, because everything that I've been told in Europe, everything you've been told in the US if you're from there, right? Oh, it's such a technologically advanced country. Nah. They're using fax machines. Fax machines were almost outdated when I was born in 1989. So, you know, it's not really that high-tech. If you're really after high-tech, guys, move to South Korea instead. Knowing about that would probably have saved me a lot of frustration, and I still would have gone to Japan. I wouldn't have gone to South Korea. I just would have been slightly less bitter about it. But something that I'm still bitter about is the horrible goddamn internet in Japan. Speaking of South Korea, wow, they have Google Fiber and the best internet in the goddamn world. Well, Japan has just shitty internet. First of all, the public Wi-Fi is absolute trash. And yes, I said absolute. I turn into Sean Connery when I get upset, because I am having issues with my internet as we speak. Home Wi-Fi and mansion apartment Wi-Fi can be worse than public Wi-Fi. Even if it's tolerable in most cases, wait until 6 or 7 p.m. on a Friday when everyone's off work. Boom! Your nice 200 megabit per second download speed, oh, it gets throttled to 10. And your upload speed, that was a nice 20, boom, throttled to 1. Now what do? Now you have to watch my videos in 360p. What? When I used to live in Osaka, it got so bad during the weekends that I actually had to go out and interact with people. Ew. And since I had to go out due to poor internet, I usually got some stuff to eat. Now, Japan has this whole zen, super healthy image in the world when it comes to food. You know, seafood, sushi. But that's not necessarily the case when it comes to a lot of the food here. A lot of the food here isn't really healthy. Karage is fried chicken, ramen, gyudon, curry, hambagu, which is like a little Salisbury steak for you American viewers, udon with tempura, and much more. Is so incredibly unhealthy. Have you seen the salt and fat content in a normal bowl of ramen? I almost get a stroke just by looking at the numbers, dude. A lot of the food is also heavy in calories, but the thing that keeps the Japanese people relatively slim is the portion sizes, which, for me, you know, is way too small and I need to double up. Hence, fat. I wish I knew to stick with the normal portions, and I might have avoided having to fucking jog every single morning now. But, you know, I'm a hungry man, and I'm tall, and by God, I'm going omori, baby. Omori body, omori portion size, motherfucker. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. If we can get 11 likes on this video, I will release the JAV code that I blurred out at the start of this video for you guys. Is this the proper way to beg for likes? Please, sir, may I have more? Also, please, you know, subscribe to the channel if you want more Japan content. More will come out, and, you know, more videos of me actually going around looking like a douchebag, holding the camera like this to my face. Hello guys, I'm here at somewhere in Japan. That kind of content is also coming out very soon. So more of that content, less of me sitting here in my room. But I also enjoy making these videos sitting here in my room. Okay guys, next time. Bye.